Upgrades. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Sundance Film Festival. Now, this here was the first film to be picked up by a major studio at the Sundance Film Festival this year. Now, this film was picked up by Netflix, who they haven't really set a release date, but they're planning to release this film later on this year. And the name of this one is Run, Rabbit, Run, which amazingly is an actual kind of a thriller horror type genre mix of a film. And this one is directed by Daina Reid, starring Sarah Snook, Lily Torian, and Damon Herriman. And this is the quick synopsis of it. A fertility doctor who believes firmly in life and death, but after noticing strange behavior of her young daughter, must challenge her own values and confront a ghost from her past. Now, I'll start off by saying, coming into this festival, this was one of the films I was extremely excited to watch. I am a horror guy, and I thought this could be one of those films that really, hopefully, comes through and defines the genre for this film festival. Not only that, after you get notice, or after we get news that Netflix picked this film up, it just heightened the expectations for just how good this film was going to be. This, unfortunately, is not the film that I thought it was going to be. Now, Sarah Snook, who plays the mother here, and we see the mother go through, I'm going to call it ebbs and flows of early on in the film with her child and just co-parenting with Peter, who is her husband, her ex-husband, and we see them co-parenting her daughter. And then it switches rather quickly to her daughter exhibiting weird behavior. It's not fully explained to us what this weird behavior is. We just kind of notice it. We get a tonal change in the film. We get a tonal change in the score that tells us, okay, maybe these are some supernatural forces come afoot. And this is right after following the birthday party that we get these things happening in this film. Now, from there, we just get a progression of what it seems like the child's behavior becoming more demonic, or you could look at it as the mom's behavior becoming more sporadic and unhinged. It was weird the way they played this film off, because they didn't want to give away too much of what the actual plot of this film was. And because of this, it just gets so convoluted on exactly what this movie is at times that it can confuse the watcher on exactly what you're watching here. Now, Sarah Snook as the mom here is great in this film. She is the main reason you want to watch this movie here. We see the mom as she's trying to deal with her daughter's emotional issues while also dealing with some traumatic issues of her own and traumatic issues towards her daughter here in this film. Once we experience that, we see a mother just attempting to, at times it feels like she's just attempting to hold on to something here. What that something is, we have the slightest idea as the audience. Early on in this film, we don't know what this thing is that this mom is attempting to hold on to, but we do understand the care and the love she has for her child while she's attempting to deal with everything else. Unfortunately, as I said before, this film takes an odd turn that it shouldn't take. And it goes from this building psychological horror film into this oddly false supernatural drama. And when it makes this tonal change and we see Sarah Snook's character completely start to change along with her daughter, that's when the film is going to lose a lot of people, and it definitely lost me. While this film looks amazing, the score is great. Visually, I see why Netflix picked this film up, but plot-wise, this plot makes no sense. It's not paced necessarily well. The plot doesn't make sense. Sarah Snook is the only reason you're actually going to go into this film to watch it, and her performance is that strong. It should draw your attention to it, but every other aspect of this film just feels like it's a story that could have been there, and they just kept on pulling it back. And then when you get by the third act, when the film is just completely off the rails, and I mean completely off the rails by the third act, once you get the big reveal of it, it feels like the film never earns that big reveal, nor is that big reveal important enough in this film to make you watch it anymore. It's one of those things where it felt like at times they tried to push this film and kind of play it like maybe we're gonna play this cat and mouse game with the audience and then we'll get you hooked into it. Unfortunately, the actual plot of it, as we see the relationship between the mother and the daughter in this film, it's so lacking because they don't do enough of the true horror elements of it to push this film forward. Instead, they do tend to go down the right route of the psychological thriller more. But when you go down that route, your film has to be exceptionally strong, and your plot has to be that way too. And that's where again this film falters because neither one of those elements are strong enough to support this huge, again, off the rails third act and this big reveal at the end that just leaves you wanting more out of a film, and you want more out of Run Rabbit Run. Again, as I said before, this is one of my most anticipated films of this festival. My anticipation heightened once I realized Netflix picked this film up, and then you watch it and you wonder like, oh, this is definitely not what I wanted it to be. But not only that, it's just not, it doesn't feel like a complete movie. And that's a struggle point of Run Rabbit Run, is it just doesn't feel complete. It feels like a brilliant idea that unfortunately the movie is extremely too long for this idea. And it seems like they never build upon the idea of the plot of the mother-daughter relationship, of the mother's past traumas to truly make you grasp onto this film. Those things aren't done, and because those things aren't done, you're left with something that even by the end, even by the big reveal of the end, you're still feeling like it should be more movie, even though you sat through this movie and thought it was too long of a movie. Kind of weird correlation between the two there. But Run Rabbit Run, brought to you by the Sundance Film Festival. As I said, this film has already been picked up by Netflix. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Run Rabbit Run a 4 out of 10. Sarah Silk's performance is amazing in this movie. Nothing else is. It's at no point in time did I feel that this film even it came close to earning the ending that we get, but they didn't even build upon the story enough and the plot enough to make you care about even the mom, even like no character enough to get to that ending result, because we don't get to experience some of the traumas of the mother-daughter relationship, even some of the traumas between her and her ex-husband. Like, we don't get to see any of that. And when you don't get to see it, it's hard to come up with this conclusion at the end. It's like this movie wanted to be a great, substantial type of horror that really makes people think, following down the paths of like It Follows or The Babadook or something of that nature. And instead, what we got was a film that just didn't know what it needed to be complete, and didn't execute well. But when it drops on Netflix, let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.